Hey there, Batman fans. This is Wesatron. Today we're taking a look at Mattel's DC Comics Multiverse Batman The Dark Knight Returns Robin action figure. This is Robin from the Dark Knight Returns comic book, which is Carrie Kelly is the character. This is typical packaging we've seen for the line so far. Lots of red. We've got the DC Comics logo up here. If you notice from box to box, this logo up here will change depending on the series that it's part of. So in the background, we've got kind of like a generic orange, almost kind of Doctor Strange-ish looking pattern back there. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be exactly. You can see the Doomsday Build-A-Figure piece. Some nice Frank Miller art down here in the corner. Looks great. On the side, we've got a shot of Carrie, and down here it's even got a little bit of a bio for her. 13-year-old girl who distracts the mutant leader to help save Batman and later becomes his partner. Very cool. On the back, we've got a shot of the Doomsday Build-A-Figure, or Collect and Connect, whatever they want to call it nowadays, and shots of the other characters from the wave. I don't plan on completing this one just to get the Doomsday. He looks alright, but the like horns are kind of weird, so I don't know if I'm going to complete it or not, but mostly just plan on sticking to the Dark Knight Returns figures because I really like them. But yeah, that's it for the packaging. Let's go ahead and get her out of package and see what she's like. And here is Carrie Kelly out of packaging, looking incredibly small. That's because she is. In addition to the figure, she gets one huge Collect and Connect piece, and this is for Doomsday. Like I said, I'm not sure that I'm going to complete this. Even seeing this now, it's making me think it's probably a good idea not to complete it. There's a severe lack of paint details. Sculpting-wise, it does look very good. There's a lot of good stuff going on here. We've got some nice ridges in the belts and in the pant leg and everything. It's just, it kind of lacks. Articulation is the swivel hinge hips that we're used to. Swivel in the thigh, which seems very tight. Hinge in the knee, which gets about 90 degrees. And then a hinge back and forth on the foot, and no swivel in the foot. Like no rocker movement or anything. Just overall seems kind of cheap. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, easy pass for me, I think, going forward. But on to Carrie Kelly herself. She gets one additional accessory, and that is her tiny little Sling Shot. And it looks pretty good. It's bent a little bit, I guess. Maybe it was bent in the comics, but I would assume that it was bent to simulate, you know, being drawn upon. But, yeah, it looks okay. On the back, we've got our typical Mattel China in huge letters logo there. No extra paint details. It's just the rubber, like rubber band type straps, and then the gray metal here and a black grip. But, you know, it looks okay. The only issue with it is that it would probably be better if there was a drawn version, or if this was like an elastic material, or even if it was just laying down a little bit flatter. The reason I say that is because, for one, it's an awkward accessory because she's got a hand to hold it, but she doesn't have another hand to draw it back. So if you could draw it back, it would be cool, because then you could hook the other hand on it, but they didn't give you the option anyway. So basically all she really gets to do is hold this as she jumps through the sky, which is okay. It's not bad, but it just seems a little lackluster, honestly. Weird thing about her hand, though, to hold it, is that if you can see, it is not drilled all the way through. So on the bottom, you've just got a big puff of nothing, because it seems like they meant to drill it through but didn't. So the Sling Shot goes in maybe about that far and stops. So, typical Mattel. The figure itself is a pretty decent rendition of the Frank Miller art style. She's got the big blocky glasses. Her proportions are very exaggerated. She's got really, really big hands compared to her head. Very small in stature, but still somehow a little muscular. She looks good. We don't have any kind of texture on the cape, but that's kind of keeping with the art style. There are some nice wrinkles here, also keeping with the art style. The paint is not detailed, but it is accurate. Like, it's the correct colors in the right spots, as far as I can tell. There's just no, like, airbrushing or anything to kind of bring out any of the details. Hair is bright orange and looks appropriately messy. It's a pretty good looking figure. And the huge R Robin symbol on the chest looks pretty good. Yeah, I'll just let you get a close-up of the face real quick. If I can focus. There we go. So not too bad. The lipstick might be a tad purpley, but that's not really an issue. As far as articulation, she's a super mixed bag, which is pretty much standard for Mattel. She has a swivel head. I have no idea why. She looks like she's designed to have a ball-jointed head, but there is no movement in any direction. You might, oh look, there's a little bit of tiny movement there, but that's it. That's a complete waste of a joint. Swivel hinges in the shoulders, get pretty decent range. A lot of these swivel hinge joints were very, very tight. I was very worried that I was going to break the figure, but I've got them loose now, so they're not too bad. We get about 90 degrees in the elbow. Little paint blemishes there. Swivel wrists. We get a swivel waist. Easy place to put a ball joint, but of course not. Swivel hinge in the hips. A little blocked by the skirt, but not too bad. The butt will block it from going back very far at all. They would have to shave that part off, which would be an easy thing to do. Goes out about that far to the sides, which is pretty good. She can get some good splits, which is cool because she's a very acrobatic character. Swivels right here in the thigh, go all the way around. The knees were some of the trickiest. Knees and ankles especially really worried me about if they were going to break. Get about 90 degrees in the knee. Despite appearances, like this looks like there's the ability to swivel there, I would not risk it. I don't think it actually moves. It's a square peg there and there's a circle around it, which makes it look like it's a circular joint, but I don't think it actually is. But yeah, 90 degrees in the knee. Ankles actually have really, really great motion, front to back. I'm really, really impressed with the ankles. The going forward is amazing. Very rarely do you get figures that have that kind of range, so that's really cool. No kind of swivel that I can feel, but again, like the joints are so tight when you pull this figure out of package that it really makes you wonder if it's meant to work better than it is and just isn't. Yeah, just not great altogether. Articulation, as I said, is a mixed bag. The swivel head is a huge letdown, as is the lack of a ball-jointed waist. And here's Carrie Kelly next to Batman, the armored Batman from the same wave. And standing next to him, she comes out at just a hair over 5 inches, maybe 5 1/4 inches to the top of her hair. So, very, very nice scale-wise. I think they did a good job in making sure she seemed adequately tiny compared to the Dark Knight. So this is a nice visual representation of that difference between the two characters, and I think they did a pretty good job, if nothing else, on the scale. So for your $19.99, you do get a rather minuscule figure. You get the Build-A-Figure piece, the leg of Doomsday, and you get the Sling Shot. Altogether, if you're not a Dark Knight fan and you're not planning on building Doomsday, this is an easy pass. She's very small. She doesn't come with a lot of accessories. They didn't try and increase her value by giving her stellar articulation. The swivel head is an enormous letdown, but at least the sculpt looks good. I mean, you compare her to the Batman, they look like they belong in the same world. They did a very good job of kind of replicating the style of Frank Miller. So if you're a Frank Miller fan, you know, this is definitely going to be one that you're going to pick up either way. So I'm not sure why they chose to do some of the things they did. Oh, and I forgot to mention, she also does have a little holster here on her belt. But the Sling Shot doesn't fit great into it because of the design. For one, it is rubber, but it's got these ridges on the grip, so it's very hard to get into the holster, and when you do, it looks a little obnoxious. And if you flip it around the other way, this gets in the way of the chest, and it's just, I don't know, it's just a bit of a mess. This figure just seems like it was kind of thrown together by people who saw a name on a page and decided that we can make an action figure of that, and that's what they ended up with. So, very huge letdown for a line that's severely lacking in female figures, so that's unfortunate. But if you're like me and you're a Frank Miller fan, you're going to get it either way, so, you know, it is what it is. As a $20 figure on its own, definitely not worth it. As a continuation of the Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns line, you're going to have to get it, so sorry guys. that's it for this review. If you have any questions or comments, anything you'd like me to reveal that I either skipped over or forgot, anything like that, please let me know. I'd be glad to help out. And I really appreciate you showing up. Thanks, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.